get ready to uncover one of humanity's most mind-blowing secrets. Imagine a colossal creature with a lion's body and a human head guarding the entrance to ancient Egypt. That's the Great Sphinx we're talking about. Situated in Giza, Egypt, this majestic wonder is over 4,500 years old, making it not only the oldest Egyptian monument, but one of the oldest structures on our planet. For centuries, the Sphinx has been a treasure trove for curiosity-driven minds, sparking wild theories and fascinating investigations. On Here I Exist today, we're diving into the mysterious world of the Great Sphinx. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a Sphinx? Let's dive deeper into the world of this incredible monument. A Sphinx is a legendary creature with a human head on a lion's body, and you can find these mythical statues in many cultures worldwide. But our star, the Great Sphinx of Giza, stands out from the rest due to its gigantic size and mysterious history. Built over 4,500 years ago under the command of Pharaoh Khafre, this ancient wonder still keeps its secrets hidden. You might have heard some wild theories about it, like the one popularized by famous clairvoyant Edgar Cayce in the early 1900s. He claimed that refugees from a lost city called Atlantis buried their knowledge and treasures in a hall of records beneath the Sphinx, and that we'd discover this hidden chamber before the turn of the century. But did anyone ever find it? Let's keep investigating. Now that we've got our mystery kicked into high gear, let's explore who might have been behind this massive project. Building something as incredible as the Great Sphinx needed an army of skilled laborers. We're talking over 2,000 people working together for at least 3 years straight. So, who was in charge? Historians believe it was Pharaoh Khafre himself, and his team made sure to leave a lasting impression on history. But how did they create this mind-blowing structure that's almost 70 feet tall? The answer is pretty amazing. Instead of stacking stones, the ancient builders carved the entire Sphinx out of a single massive limestone block. It's no wonder this place has been fascinating people for centuries. Let's dive deeper into the story behind this legendary wonder. The Sphinx is a testament to ancient Egypt's incredible craftsmanship and ambition. But who exactly brought this vision to life? You might have heard some theories suggesting that thousands of foreign slaves did the hard labor, but archaeologists have busted those claims. So, who were these manual workers? Well, it all started with an unexpected discovery in 1990 by an American tourist named Rita Evans, who was riding her horse near the Sphinx when a stumble revealed a hidden mud brick wall just half a mile away. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. After Rita Evans' incredible discovery, a massive archaeological dig ensued, unearthing an astonishing cemetery containing over 600 ancient burials, all within half a mile of the Sphinx itself. Now, you might expect grand tombs fit for pharaohs among the graves, but surprisingly, that wasn't the case. Instead, each tomb was uniquely customized with inscriptions listing the names and impressive job titles of their owners. And here's the clincher: the proximity to the Sphinx and those tantalizing rewards etched onto the tombs. It paints a picture of skilled workers who weren't slaves, but valued laborers, earning recognition and possibly even bonuses for their monumental contributions to ancient Egypt's most iconic landmark. And let's not forget another crucial piece of evidence pointing to these workers being anything but slaves: their diet. Archaeologist Mark Leonard's team dug up remnants of predominantly young male cattle, essentially prime cuts of beef, showing up in the workers' remains. Now, you'd think that ancient Egyptian officials would spare some of this top-notch protein for themselves, right? But nope, the luxurious diet indicates a clear distinction between these skilled workers and the slaves of the time. Slaves just didn't get this kind of treatment. They were usually stuck with plain, basic rations. So, it's pretty safe to say that the Sphinx builders enjoyed some serious perks. Get ready to meet the mastermind behind one of history's most iconic mysteries, the Great Sphinx. Pharaoh Khafre, an Egyptian king who ruled during the Old Kingdom around 2600 BC, was the brainchild behind this colossal creature. But how do we know? Well, a striking resemblance between the Sphinx's head and face and a life-size statue of Khafre found by French archaeologist Auguste Mariette in the Valley Temple, which is basically an ancient building right next to the Sphinx, gave it away. As you might expect from the great pharaohs of Egypt, Khafre came from a long line of pyramid and temple-building dynasties. His dad, Pharaoh Khufu, was one of the biggest names in Egyptian history, He built the colossal 481 feet tall Great Pyramid, which just so happens to be situated about a quarter-mile away from the Sphinx's future home. Let's dive deeper into the mysterious past of the Great Sphinx. So, Pharaoh Khafre decided to build his pyramid a quarter-mile behind where we now know the Sphinx would sit, and it was about 10 feet shorter than his dad's iconic monument. But here's the thing. The area where the Sphinx would later be built wasn't just an empty space back then. It was actually a bustling quarry center, where workers were busy hauling massive stones to the pyramid construction sites. It was during this time that Khafre stumbled upon a massive limestone deposit in the quarry and had a vision. He wanted to create something truly extraordinary, unlike anything Egypt had ever seen before. And get this, some experts think that the Sphinx's head might have actually been carved from this very same limestone. Egyptian geologist Pharaoh Khafre is one of them, and his theory has got us all wondering. You know, considering it's over 4,000 years old, the Great Sphinx is still holding up pretty well, but not entirely intact. As we explore its history, we start to uncover some fascinating stories behind what's missing. It turns out, humans played a role in damaging parts of this ancient wonder. Think wars and reckless excavations gone wrong. On top of that, natural forces like the constant blow of sand and wind have also taken their toll, slowly wearing away at its structure over time. But here's something really cool. Did you know that during its construction, different parts of the Sphinx were actually covered in layers of fossils and limestone? It's amazing to think about how these hidden histories are still waiting to be uncovered. Let's dive into how nature has impacted the Great Sphinx over time. It's a story of uneven wear and tear. You see, years of sand and wind erosion have taken their toll, but in an unexpected way. The body of the lion part of this ancient creature was built using softer layers, making it more susceptible to damage. Meanwhile, the head and lower parts, like the legs, were carved out of harder rock, giving them a stronger defense against the elements. As a result, we can see that the legs and majestic head have held up way better than the body, revealing some pretty cool differences in how this incredible structure was put together. The Great Sphinx head. It's actually in better shape than most of these ancient statues, but don't think it's completely off the hook for damage. Believe it or not, this magnificent face has undergone some major changes over the centuries. And then there are the damages we can directly blame on humans. In the late 20th century, after a closer look at that iconic face, archaeologists found evidence of rods stuck in the nose area, one going down from the bridge and another hiding beneath the nostril. It's crazy to think about it, but these rods were likely used to chip away at the nose, which was initially estimated to be around a meter long. Sadly, this renovation project resulted in the Sphinx losing its original nose. Talk about unintended consequences. Let's set the record straight. We've got proof from Frederick Lewis Norden's 1,737 drawings that the Sphinx once had a nose, so there's no debate about it originally existing. But what about its disappearance? Well, theories abound. Mark Leonard's archaeology study thinks someone deliberately chipped off the nose between the 3rd and 10th centuries using tools. Meanwhile, another story claims a stray cannonball from the Napoleon Wars was responsible for the loss. And if you thought that was wild, an Arab historian even suggests a Sufi fanatic might have smashed it in 1402 as a twisted attempt to correct some perceived religious mistakes. Talk about a dramatic and mysterious past. So, the mystery of the missing nose remains unsolved, but what about its former facial hair? Yep, the Great Sphinx is also beardless. And we've got some clues about that too. Archaeologists digging in the early 19th century found fragments of a braided beard and a royal cobra symbol from its headdress. Now, Egyptologist Vasil Dobrev pointed out something interesting. If the beard was always there, it would have left marks on the chin when it fell off. But we don't see any damage. That's a pretty strong sign that the beard was added later as an adornment, after the Sphinx was already built. You won't believe how vibrant the Great Sphinx used to be. Back in the day, it wasn't just beige. This ancient wonder was a multicolored masterpiece. Researchers have found clues that point to a reddish face, and even some blue and yellow hues elsewhere on its body. Yeah, you read that right, the Sphinx might have looked like a cartoon character from our favorite comic books. Fast forward to modern times, and a team of American archaeologists got permission to dig deeper, literally. They drilled a whopping 21 feet beneath the Sphinx's legs, but unfortunately, it put some serious stress on its structure. The Great Sphinx's makeover wasn't just about adding some color. It took a toll on its body too. Some careless digging even led to vandalism, chipping off a couple of toes and throwing off its balance. This reckless excavation threatened to cause parts of the Sphinx to crumble, but luckily, they were able to stop in time. The Egyptian government was so shaken by this incident that it put a ban on drilling and explosions near these ancient wonders. Now, getting permits for any major digs or excavations around the Sphinx is super tough, so we can all breathe a sigh of relief. No more drastic changes anytime soon. But what about the Sphinx's real purpose? That remains one of the biggest mysteries archaeologists are still trying to crack. So what was the Sphinx's original purpose? Well, it's believed that Pharaoh Khafre built this majestic creature strategically where it is today. Not just for aesthetics, but with a bigger plan in mind. He wanted it to play a key role in guiding pharaohs and their ancestors through the journey into the afterlife. And here's the cool part: sunlight was a major player in this transition. Scientists have found that the Sphinx serves as a channel of sorts, funneling solar energy towards the 3 giant pyramids at Giza, which were also built by Khafre. Mark Leonard's research on the Giza Plateau really brought this idea to life, showing how the entire complex is actually a massive sacred machine harnessing the sun's power to keep balance between the earthly and divine realms. But as time passed, the Sphinx started taking on a whole new spiritual significance, one that we're still uncovering today. Fast forward to ancient Egypt's New Kingdom era, around 1570 to 1069 BC. During this time, Egyptians started calling the Sphinx something new: Hormaket, or Horus of the Horizon. And guess what? A whole cult formed around it. Now, we might think of a cult as a secretive, modern group, but back then, it just meant a bunch of people united by their devotion to a particular deity. This solar cult worshipped Horus, the sky god, and saw the Sphinx as his earthly symbol. Pharaoh Amenhotep Tele even rolled out the red carpet for these fans, building a temple in honor of the Sphinx and hailing Khufu and Khafre as Horus's champions on earth. The Egyptian kings were all about spreading the love for Horus, and the Sphinx was right at the heart of it. But here's where things get even juicier. Prince Thutmose, Amenhotep Tai's son, had a wild dream one night. He fell asleep next to the Sphinx, and when he woke up, the statue was talking to him. It was complaining about how the sand was suffocating it, making it hard for Egyptians to remember its glory. The Sphinx offered Prince Thutmose a deal. If he cleaned off the sand and gave the statue a total makeover, he'd get the crown jewels, the throne of Egypt. Thutmose took the bait, got to work on restoring the Sphinx, and as a thank you, built that iconic wall in front of it. Talk about a dream come true for both him and the Sphinx. But here's the best part. Thutmose IV didn't just stop at giving the Sphinx a good cleaning. He built an epic wall in front of it, made from pink granite, and carved a story into it how he got to be pharaoh thanks to the Sphinx's deal. This was way back between 1400 and 1390 BC. As for the Sphinx cult, it really took off after Thutmose IV's reign. People started believing this statue could influence the future, just like Thutmose did. Now, you might have heard some wild theories about the Sphinx, like Edgar Cayce's idea of a secret hall of records beneath it. But so far, no archaeologists have found any evidence to back that up. The truth is, there are still heaps of unanswered questions about this ancient wonder. But don't worry, scientists aren't giving up. They're working hard to dig up the facts and uncover the secrets of the one and only Sphinx of Giza. Now it's your turn. What do you believe about this ancient enigma? Could there be hidden secrets beneath the sand?